posted a whole bunch of stuff. They had, people with their cuts and stuff on, and these photos of saying this is not who we are. And listen, if you're a Motorcycle Alliance organization, all I gotta say is that's just stupid of disowning something that's been there for years. Like, I don't personally understand. I don't understand it. But maybe one day I'll sit down with the, National Motorcycle Alliance and have a cup of tea or something like that and pick his brain of why. Why do you feel that way? Now, mind you, there is different terms you use. Some are motorcycle enthusiasts. Some are just weekend riders, but they still ride a motorcycle, but they call it a bike. We keep degrading each other. It's not helping anybody. Does that make sense? So, like, whatever you are, you ride two wheels, love it, know in your heart you're an awesome person, but still understand that these ways of life is still there. Respect, honor, loyalty, much love. Like, still honor those because that's what you're sitting in a seat for. Perception is so important when it comes to anything in life. People call it branding. I don't believe it's branding. I think it's a perception of who you are. With the biker, you have this reputation that you guys own of being a safety person, of being a lovely person who helps kids, who makes charity. That's something to honor and own. And if you're putting in yourself in those two wheels, I'm pretty sure your ancestors would want you to do that no matter what side of the coin you're on. And so it's a question that we have to sit there and say, if we keep decrediting ourselves, if that's the term I'm going to say, because it's way too early this morning to talk. But if we keep sitting there and lowering our own standards to sit there and say, oh, I'm not a biker, well, you're just hurting your own foot. Because you're sitting in a seat that has history and that is told in a certain way of life. And you're deciding to buy that bike. And yes, you may love it. It's an enthusiast aspect. You're a collector. It's wonderful, but you still have to respect the history. And that's one thing that we here at We Are Bikers Tonight takes very seriously, because you still need to respect that. You still need to understand. And I know people are like, well, I don't know, I come from a household of pushing boundaries, but old school business mindset, still appreciate the history. My mom was an antiquer. My biological father took us all to these crazy war museums and Civil War battlefields with just grass, but he knew the stories of how a battle was fought strategically. It's this matter. The fact is, hey, listen, you're on a battlefield, but there's new houses being built on the battlefield where somebody died. And you still have to move forward, sadly, because this land is being developed, but you still need to respect your history, too, and you don't want to be rude. These pretty little houses on this land where people passed away is very sad, and you're forgetting the history, and all we have is this billboard here that's telling you about what General Lee did. It's the fact of the matter is we have to sit there and do better when it comes to our society in general, just outside the biker way. It's just, the fact is that you're going on these two wheels, the three wheels, and we're not respecting the heart of it. And people are taking the heart of it and comparing it to physical attributions, and that's not helping it. Biker is a heart. And I can tell you that full-heartedly after 3 years of saying, listen, it's not physical. It's not what you look like. It's not what you're wearing. It's not what your beliefs are. It's literally a heart. And that's something that we have to talk about, I feel like, full-heartedly. And it's really that simple. It's amazing in life where we sit there and we're looking at physical attributes so much, and you wonder why racism is still there. You wonder why prejudice and profiling and stigmas, and we're not helping it. We're judging you by how you look because of a standard. You don't wear your helmet, or you wear your helmet. Seeing a biker without a helmet on. Oh, how dare he not wear a helmet? He's going to kill himself. That's not for you, number one, to even worry about. He's a human being. He has choices. He has a choice. His life is his life. Mind you, it could affect other people if he gets in the accident and stuff, but that's beside the point. He can still choose, because he might be more control of himself and know how he's supposed to ride. He's been through it. We're not trusting each other. We're looking at the fakeness of things. And so it's a matter of fact of saying, hey, what is he feeling like? Some bikers are very gung-ho on not wearing a helmet. Some are very important of saying, I'm going to wear a helmet. Listen, save my life. Here's my story. You know, we tend to reflect ourselves on each other so much that we have such a hard time of saying, hey, I can't, this person's different than I am. This person has a different walk, is a different path. You know, they're different, but we all come down to these core beliefs: respect, loyalty, honor, much love. And that has, to me, that across the board is what a biker is. And I will full-heartedly put that back in the organization. I will full-heartedly take that concept, because number one, it's breaking stereotypes, it's breaking racism, it's breaking profiling, you know, stigmas. Like, it's pretty fascinating if we remove the physical aspect and we sit there and say, this is what, you know, this is the main core. Like, you walk this life, you're a biker. Now, if you want to just collect, by all means, collect, but still respect that history. Sit there and say, hey, you know what? I'm a motorcycle enthusiast, but I understand that there's an understanding when I ride my, you know, 1970s, you know, motorcycle, which could be like, I know I've seen Honda, I've seen BMW, they're beautiful, but I still respect when I get off. I'm still wearing my, you know, yes, I may be wearing leathers and stuff. I don't see myself as a biker, but I see myself as a motorcycle lover and who loves his history, and I love this, but I respect also this individual that's a brother, that has, you know, maybe be in a club, or maybe just likes to ride, just wears a vest. There's an understanding there on 2 wheels to 3 wheels. And you see that, like, there's times where I go to a meetup where there's so many walks of life, and I'm like, boy, this is awesome. There's so many different types of people. You have people with different age groups. You have different race. You have different sex. You know, there's different, you know, female and male. Like, there's different types of people that have different lives, and they're coming together because of these 2 to 3 wheels. And that's powerful. But you also have to understand that it comes up towards the biker way of life and their past history as well, of why they ride, why back then they rode, what made them ride. You know, it's a tough dialogue. It's not easy, and it's never going to stop. And I'd love to hear your opinions. If you want to, email me, we'rebikersunite@gmail.com. You know, just email me, let me know your thoughts. You can message me. I love sitting down and have an intelligent conversation. I think it's powerful to lower my own standards, to sit there and listen to somebody else has totally different viewpoints than me, because then I gather it and I can learn from it, and number one, I can put it back in the organization of how we handle things, how we do things. This conversation is never going to be done. I'm not a know-it-all. I never will be. Amelia's not either. None of us are. But we're going to sit there and say, hey, you know, this is what I've seen over and over and over again. This is what we're going to put back in the organization. This is kind of a standard because we keep seeing it over and over. This is like a standard to us, but if you have a different viewpoint, let's sit down and talk and understand why. Maybe we can change our standard to cater to that a little bit more for the better of the good. If it's going to hurt, then we're not going to do it. So last week I said, hey, you know, let's talk about biker codes. What are they to you? Why are they important? Do you feel you're losing these codes? Because lately it's been a lot. So this is, I want to give a shout out to bikersupport.com, Demons Row, Biker Codes. They were the ones that allowed me to post these photos, this photo and this contest, and be able to get communication. Listen, Facebook groups, you guys are like a helpful tool for me, and I appreciate everything you guys do. I am always here to help and support you as well. You know, vice versa. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. But you also, sometimes you can't scratch my back because you don't need me. I'm just really appreciative of you helping me get this stuff. So, somebody said losing them with sport bike riders. That is, mind you, it's somebody's opinion, but I'm going to express that I have seen the opposite. I have talked to a lot of sport bike riders, one-on-one. A lot of them are just human beings that just love the wind, and they actually appreciate the history, too. It's pretty inspiring to sit there and see. We associate sport bike riders with younger riders, even though there is some older riders there. And a lot of them are coming in and they just get a bike off the road. And some of them can be, because they're, again, newer riders, can be very inconsiderate, rude. But you can also get that on the cruiser side of things, you guys. And so, it's fascinating to hear that. So losing them with sport bike riders, which I personally do not believe, but if you have that feeling, then I would love to hear why, especially person-to-person experiences. On the subject of brothers, I think any friendships or even affinity starts with having something in common, whether it's owning a particular breed of dog, a hobby, a favorite brand of vehicle, or whatever. Unless one buys a motorcycle because of affordability, gas mileage, etc., riding a motorcycle does establish having something significant in common. There are significant reasons we ride. Historically, that has often been enough to either establish the beginning of a friendship or at least provide an opening for some conversations and camaraderie. Years ago, this was enough to regularly organize friends for rides or even longer road trips. Outside of the world of motorcycles, we may not have had so much else in common, but the love of motorcycles was more than enough to keep us riding together, having coffee together, getting together for beer. Because of the strong common interests, we should often go out of our way to help each other and look out for each other when needed. I'm not sure what the Webster says, but I think I would consider this a brotherhood and a sisterhood. I'm sure there are others who feel the same way, but I respect those that don't. To urge on the side of caution, we'll continue to offer the 2 wheels down wave, and we'll always stop and lend a hand, and even a chat. I will never resent those that don't, but really believe you may be missing something for what it's worth, in this humble opinion. I love that. I think that's like I said, it's a heart, it's a heart, and I know I get teary-eyed when I talk to, especially my bikers that are older. Like, it's a heart. I get goosebumps whenever it's amazing of listening to them, and it's like that connection. It's that importance of love of the ride. It's the reason why you guys did it back during Vietnam when the country was against you when you were overseas and you came back home. It's the reason why you ride when it comes to certain aspects of, just being part of your club and stuff. Like, there is that support system, and it's not that complicated. It's an understanding. It's a heart. And like, people are like, well, I don't buy by rules, and you're like, they're not really. It's a way of life. It's a heart. It's what you are that makes you a biker. And I think that's full-heartedly. I do. Another person said, I grew up in a biker family, been patched, and I live all aspects of my life under the biker code. I find now that I'm way more help to people riding old school bikes than those new computerized ones. Those are close enough to my home to get my trailer. So listen, like I said last podcast, trailering doesn't make you less of a biker, doesn't make you a biker. People need a trailer bike sometimes because of physical attributes, and it's not for us to judge, because you're assuming, you're making an ass out of yourself, and me and you is what my mom always told me. Don't assume. And so for some reason we are, and it's not helping. And it's true, like, especially when it comes to these like, people don't understand. I don't know, I can't put my thumb on, like, because so many different types of people and their different opinions. And like I said, physical attributes can't be contributed in this topic because they all are different walks of life. But those different walks of life can hurt your own community. It just takes a seed. And so, like, just be aware of, hey, listen, I'm riding these 2 to 3 wheels. There's a standard, a good standard. It's a humanity standard of saying, hey, I'm riding these 2 to 3 wheels. Alright, another one. For those unaware, if you're having problems, i.e. a breakdown or something, place your helmet on the ground a few yards to the back of the motorcycle. It's international message for assistance needed. Can't remember where I've read it. That is another thing. That's something that is important. Those things are a way of verbal communication. And that also came from, I believe, the standards when it comes to riding schools, that they did that too. I was in my car and stopped to check on brother, stopped in front of a local hospital. He said, I'm good. I popped a plug wire off and was just wrestling with it. I offered to go get tools, and he said, nope, he was good. He thanked me. I will always stop. See, it's the small things in life. Like, people think it's just stopping. It's how you live. It's a way of life. It's a heart. Alright, this is somebody. So that so-called biker code is long gone, and it was time when everybody didn't ride a bike, only a few. I'm 65, and back in the day, patches would stop and help people, because it helped with the image. I'd be lucky to see maybe 2 bikes on the highway a day. Nowadays, the propaganda